All right. So here we are at our Astronomy at Home story time, and Teresa just read Imani's Moon by Janae Brown Wood and illustrated by Hazel Mitchell. Do you all like that story? So now we're going to do a drawing activity, and I'm going to turn it back over to Teresa for that.
Thank you, Anna. So kids, I wanted to show you this image, which was found in France. And what it is, it's a over 5,000-year-old carving of the phases of the moon, because people have been drawing the moon for almost as long as there's been people. People think that this was a calendar that was made by a woman to keep track of the phases of the moon, and there's another one sort of above it. They found quite a few of them now, these bone carvings about the moon. And of course, there's more current drawings too. This one that's on the left, that is kind of brown and white, those are drawings that Galileo, who was a famous scientist, did of the moon. Do you guys know Galileo? He was one of the first people who turned a telescope to the sky, and he also shared his stories with the people in the language of the day, which was Italian, which is really nice. Sorry, go ahead.
I really loved it. He was a really cool scientist.
Yeah, I think so too.
That was
especially
years ago.
Especially because at that time, all of the learning that was going on in that area was in Latin for people who were monks and very highly educated, and most of the regular people just spoke in Italian. So it was really exciting when he told the story for everybody to hear and understand. And then these are some other drawings that I just found online of kids who are drawing the moon, with some with chalk and some with pencils. So if you would like to do some science drawings of the moon, this is what a lot of
Sorry, Teresa.
It's okay. I just saw you muted me, and that's fine. So this is a big picture of the moon when it's full and beautiful in the sky. Anna was talking about that on Friday. That's what happened on Friday. It's not going to be there tonight. Tonight, the moon is going to look a little more like this one. This is the waning gibbous moon. It's going to be getting smaller and smaller in the sky. And this one only rises at midnight tonight, so you probably won't see that, but it also will be setting at 8:30 a.m. and it's pretty close by the sun. So I would just be careful if you're going to go look for that moon at 8:30 tomorrow morning. So let's take a look at one that's a little bit safer that you'll be seeing in the week as it's coming up. This is almost a quarter moon, the last quarter moon, and it's up in the daytime sky. And so before we start drawing, I want to take a look at just a couple of things about this image. If we're going to do like a science drawing or a realistic drawing, the first thing we want to do is just observe the moon and see what shape does it remind you of. If there's a shape that looking at this moon reminds you of, you can share, just unmute yourself and let me know what you think it looks like. To me, it looks almost like a big D, like the letter D.
A half quarter.
It's a half quarter. Yep, that's the official name of it. Yep, the last quarter moon.
Excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it kind of looks like a half pancake. It kind of looks like
A part of a pancake. Okay. And I heard one other person was talking.
That was you. What do you want to tell them the moon looked like?
half of a circle.
Half of a circle. Yeah.
Look at all these guys that I wanted to show.
No, that's not what
Sammy has a hand up. Sammy, did you want to say something?
It looks like a half moon.
Yeah.
I think
does.
it looks like the top of a mushroom.
Oh, that's nice.
Mushroom
That's a
cap.
cool idea.
Yeah, the top of a mushroom.
Yeah, it does look like that. I hadn't thought about that, but it kind of does. So now
It
that we
looks like
looked
the
at about
top
the
of a mushroom.
yeah, yeah. So now we thought about the shape. Let's think about the colors that are there. Now, a lot of people might think the moon is just white, but what colors do you see in this image?
I see gray and white.
You see gray and white?
And
Yeah,
there's
me too.
black on it.
A
Me
little bit
too.
of black on it. Yeah. What about there's like dark patches and light patches?
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, I want to show you just this. You see this part right here where it sort of goes from a bright sunlit image of the moon to like a little bit darker, and then it just disappears. That line there between the dark side and the light side is called the Terminator Line. And if you look along that Terminator Line, there's all kinds of little craters that you can see. You see those little ridges and holes that you can see there?
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you're making the drawing, try to see if you can put in some of those darker patches and some of those little holes and some of the crater marks. There's even these long marks that we call rays because they kind of look like sunshine rays or lines that are coming out. So if you take a look, try to draw just as carefully as you can and see what you can observe and put that into your drawing too.
So I think it looks like a mushroom to me.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Now that Anna said it, it looks just like a mushroom top.
I think it should be like a mushroom.
So if you have your drawing supplies with you, now that we've done some observing, we can do some more drawing.
Okay. Put these over.
And you first can draw the shape
Here you go.
and draw all the different
You're gonna draw the
that you
moon.
see.
You see that?
Draw the little craters and all the rays and that Terminator line with all of those pretty craters along the edges.
Look at I draw mine.
Yeah, carefully drawing something can help us notice more details. You know,
Yeah.
like you might not notice some of those craters except that you're trying to draw it very accurately, so it helps you notice them.
I brought you some more colors so you can
Like
put
what
in.
Galileo did.
And I want you guys to draw it and then look at it later in the week and see if it looks like this where when you see it in the sky. It might look just like you're drawing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave this image up here while you're drawing. And then also we can do some question and answers if people have questions.
And you can share your moon drawings. I'm going to stop the recording now.
We're gonna have to do the
Thanks so much, Teresa, for leading us in that drawing activity. And we'll also share what we're doing next time. Maybe you could bring up that slide and then we'll stop the recording. Yeah, so we'll go back to that moon picture so you can draw it. I just want to let you all know that our next story time will be in a month. So we're not doing it every week anymore. We're going to doing it once a month. So the next one will be on Monday, July 13th at the same time, and we'll be reading a book called Moon Rope. That one's in both English and Spanish, and we're hoping to read it in English and Spanish, but we're still working out the details for that. So make sure you're on our email list so you can get the announcement of our next story time happening on July 13th. And Teresa, you can go back now to the moon drawing, and I'm going to stop the recording.
Leo.